Hey everybody, welcome to this segment of Black Spring. And today it is Friday, and what a week it has been for not only the Democrats, but of course a bit of the DNC and of course Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. But today I want to bring you what I'm calling a bit of a stew, in which it involves some of the main players from a previous election cycle. And I'll start with the first clip, which it will involve the former analyst Donna Brazile, which Donna Brazile was also pretty heavily involved with the revealing of she was a CNN analyst, which was found sharing debate questions with Clinton during the campaign of the 2016 election cycle. Now that was discovered in a group of hacked WikiLeaks emails that she shared those questions, and she admitted to sharing those questions. And of course, we all remember that the DNC favored Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, a cycle in which, of course, Sanders was a bit shafted and, numbers a bit fudged and a bit crunched, and which puts her in a bit of what I call a reactionary stew. And I will be happy to bring you that clip. So if you will go with me, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me here on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn.
Superdelegates have their way on that second vote. To that, you say what, Donna?
First of all, I want to talk to my Republicans. First of all, stay the hell out of our race. Stay the hell out of our race. I get sick and tired, Ed and Sandra, of listening to Republicans tell me and the Democrats about our process. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell. This is not about, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed. We're not trying to prevent anyone from becoming the nominee. If you have the delegates and win, you will win.
Okay, so there you have it. You have a bit of Donna Brazile's reaction to a RNC Ronna McDaniel. So I'll also bring you Ronna's follow-up to those comments.
Guest has been the center of the dispute. Let's bring in the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, good to have you back with us.
Great to be with you.
Okay, your name's been in the headlines a lot today because of this exchange involving Donna Brazile right here on Fox. I want to play it and give you a chance to respond.
They don't have a process. They're canceling primaries. They have winner take all. They don't have the kind of democracy that we see on the Democratic side. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell.
All right, Ronna, your response.
Well, I mean, it's never fun to have your teenagers come home from school and say, hey, Mom, you're trending on social media because some woman said you should go to heck. But that being said, politics is a contact sport. And, I think Donna was out of line with her response. Of course, we all recognize that the Democrats did put the thumb on the scale for Hillary Clinton in 2016 because of Donna, because of the book that she wrote. She exposed that. This isn't rushing talking points. This is something that the New York Times has said recently as they interviewed 93 superdelegates who said even if Bernie Sanders had the popular vote going into convention, they would not support him. You've seen the Democrats change their debate process to put Bloomberg on the stage, and you've seen a concerted effort by the establishment Democrats to go after Bernie Sanders. And you know who's saying that the most? Bernie Sanders. So I felt very in my lane saying that this is happening. I don't think it's something that we can't discuss, and I think her response was a little out of line and disproportionate to my comments earlier today.
Okay, so let's talk about some results tonight because so far it has been a better than expected night for the former Vice President Joe Biden, who a lot of folks felt was on the ropes coming out of Iowa and New Hampshire. We thought he'd have a convincing win in South Carolina, where he overwhelmed expectations there. And now it is neck and neck in Texas as we're following this. That's a delegate-rich win for whoever takes it. He is slightly ahead there, where it's still too close for us to call, so we continue to watch that. But what do you make of this idea that, as you know, there's been talk from the Bernie Sanders camp that they felt like they were being disadvantaged at some points certainly in 2016, there have been questions from supporters this time around that it looks like the establishment got together. It's what they do if this is what happened. They try to make a decision and back someone. It looks like they may be one step closer to slowing his progress, at least tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely been an effort to try and slow Sanders. You've seen that through some of the Democrat media. You've seen Democrat candidates say we don't want Sanders. And I do think their convention process is flawed. I mean, the Republican delegates are bound to the votes of the states that vote. And Democrats have this thing called the super delegate, the elite delegate that can come in and put their thumb on the scale if they think the voters across the country got it wrong. And I think that's wrong, and it's the establishment of their party. Now, that's their choice, and that's how their party runs. But that's what hurt Bernie Sanders in 2016. They changed the rules. So in 2020, they come in on the second vote. But I think that's a very real concern that the Sanders camp can have. And that's something I'm saying as an observer, and I think that's something that a lot of pundits are pointing out as well. Biden had a good night tonight, but Sanders had a good night tonight too. It's a jump ball. You're going to have a long process and a long runway to determining who their nominee is going to be.
Well, and for all the chatter that there's worry about down ballot issues, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has come out and said, listen, we're going to be unified behind whoever wins. She also said this, quote, we have the most dangerous person in the history of our country sitting in the White House. She says they're going to get it together no matter whom the nominee is, and they're going to make sure that President Trump's not reelected.
Well, he is dangerous. He's dangerous to the future of the Democrat Party because he gets to run on 7 million new jobs and wages going up and people off of food stamps and a stronger military. And on issue after issue, this president gets to show a record of accomplishment for the American people. And the Democrats have doubled down on obstruction and resistance and investigations. And so he is dangerous to them and their party because we will keep the Senate and we have the possibility of taking back the House. And I think that's something that's very frightening to Nancy Pelosi.
All right. Ronna, at this point, do you have a preference of whom you'd like the president to face off against?
No, I like this long, drawn-out process, Shannon. I'm loving this. I think it's great. Let it play out. I do think Elizabeth Warren had a terrible showing tonight. To not win your home state, that's embarrassing. And I'll be interested to see the dollar count for Bloomberg's ads versus how many delegates he actually received. But this is great. Let it go. I hope they have a brokered convention, and we'll just keep building our ground game to reelect Donald Trump.
Well,
okay, so there, ladies and gentlemen, you had the RNC, Ronna McDaniel's giving you the take on, the establishment, generally the DNC's establishment, the DNC's history on actual primaries, and she's actually giving you a bit of, she's basically segueing into my actual point on today's segment, which is, of course, this cuts close to the bone for Donna Brazile because, they do play by a different set of rules. And of course, they make these rules at times, they make the rules and they change them, as they go along. So it makes a huge difference when, you're talking about Bernie Sanders' actual chances, with the lack of transparency, the lack of the process in which his supporters are up against. They're up against this process. And so I'll give you I'll give you my tag on this. So generally I did mention in this segment that I would discuss just briefly the week in review, so to speak. So of course Biden had a bit of a turnaround, and that's due to, the Deep South being the Deep South still being quite emotionally segregated, and Biden has been counting on the Jim Clyburns, the tethering himself to Barack Obama, and unfortunately, many blacks assume that the Obamacare will be revived, or from a Biden presidential election, or in fact, emotionally, the community is loyal to Barack Obama, making Joe Biden a bit of a consolation candidate on what many conservatives see as the plantation. So, I think, Biden made his case that, it's saying that he had earned, he called it, he had earned these particular votes basically under those to me under that premise. It's not. It's a tethering kind of premise that he's holding on to, that he held on to for the demographic of the black community there. And so it'll be, it's pretty interesting. In fact, Donna Brazile made comments during the week saying, Joe Biden, she's the same playbook every 4 years. Oh, Joe Biden, he's like an uncle, and they can say everything except for that President Obama actually endorsed a candidate. I mean, he didn't endorse, President Obama did not endorse Joe Biden. He has not done that. But, they want to get as close to that as they possibly can. And that's where this is coming from. What's hanging on, what they're able to kind of cling to in terms of the support that Biden has been able to garner during the week and the primaries. As well as, of course, Brazil, they do quite a bit of projection, quite a little bit Bolshevik style, but I'm sure you've seen it before. But I'd love to know what your take is on this. Now, how interesting will it be? Will Bernie be able to turn this around? Does he still have a chance? Is it just going to be double down on the nastiness to come from Bernie Sanders? Or what can we expect? Let me know what you think. Please hit that subscribe bell and hit the like button. I appreciate your comments as well, but definitely the like and the subscribe button. And also, if you'd like to support the channel, I am also an affiliate on Brighteon.com, and there's actual a store there. So for those of you that are for your coronavirus concerns and needs, there's plenty of products and preparedness items for you on Brighteon.com on the store. So if you have any questions, or you can check out that if you'd like to support the channel that way. Also, please let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm always glad to have you guys here on Black Spring with Autumn. And I will see you on the next episode. Have a great day.